DeepSeek, a name that, just months ago, was unknown outside of China. Today, it has become a force powerful enough to shake the foundations of the U.S. economy. This Chinese AI model has defied expectations, not just by competing with Silicon Valley's most advanced models, but by doing it at an efficiency that no American tech company has been able to match. The U.S. spent billions building AI. DeepSeek did it with just $5.6 million. The assumption was that China, restricted by U.S. semiconductor bans, would fall behind. Instead, DeepSeek proved that those restrictions were not the chokehold Washington had hoped for. This is not just another AI model. This is a turning point. DeepSeek's rise represents a fundamental shift in the global economic order, and it raises the question: has China already taken the lead in AI, and with it, the future of economic power? If you want to stay informed on how the global economy is changing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Economy Explorer, where we break down the biggest economic shifts shaping our world. Let's get into it. DeepSeek's unprecedented efficiency, a cost revolution in AI. For years, AI development was seen as a game of scale. OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft poured billions into training ever larger models, believing that access to the most advanced chips and computing resources would keep them ahead of the world. But DeepSeek shattered that illusion. In just 2 months, using far fewer resources, DeepSeek developed an AI model that can compete with OpenAI's GPT-4 and Google's Gemini, without access to the powerful H100 chips that U.S. companies rely on. This raises a troubling reality for Silicon Valley. Their assumption that massive spending equals AI dominance may no longer hold true. The real question now is not whether DeepSeek can compete. It already has. The real concern is how quickly it can scale and how many industries it can disrupt. If an AI model this powerful can be built at a fraction of the cost, then the traditional business models of American AI giants may no longer be sustainable. OpenAI has raised billions from Microsoft to fund its development, and Google and Meta have spent years stockpiling the most advanced GPUs. But DeepSeek's success suggests that raw computing power may no longer be the deciding factor in the AI race. Instead, efficiency is now the new battleground. If AI can be developed this cheaply, then Silicon Valley's approach, spending tens of billions of dollars to maintain a competitive edge, may quickly become outdated. Every U.S. company that raised massive rounds of funding for AI development now faces an existential crisis. Investors who once believed that AI required deep pockets may now look elsewhere, and U.S. firms will be forced to rethink their entire approach. This isn't just a breakthrough in AI. This is a revolution in how AI is built, one that threatens to leave American tech companies scrambling to justify their billion-dollar price tags. If the U.S. doesn't adapt, it could soon find itself paying a heavy economic price for underestimating China's AI capabilities. The economic shockwave, DeepSeek, and the U.S. stock market crash. The rise of DeepSeek has already sent shockwaves through the U.S. financial markets. Nvidia, the powerhouse of America's AI chip industry, saw its stock plummet by 17% in a single day, wiping out $600 billion in market value, the largest single-day loss in its history. Investors saw what DeepSeek had done with less powerful chips and immediately questioned whether U.S. tech companies had overestimated their competitive advantage. Microsoft, Google, and Meta also saw their stocks take a hit. The assumption that their dominance in AI was unchallenged was now shattered. This is just the beginning. As DeepSeek continues to improve and more Chinese AI companies follow its lead, investors may start redirecting their capital. The American AI industry, once seen as the only game in town, now faces the prospect of losing investment to China. If U.S. companies can no longer promise a competitive edge in AI, what happens to the trillions of dollars tied to this sector? DeepSeek is more than an AI model. It's a warning to Wall Street. The U.S. economy has bet heavily on AI as the next trillion-dollar industry. But if China can develop AI at a fraction of the cost, then America's most valuable tech giants are no longer safe. The job market impact, a threat to Silicon Valley's future. For decades, Silicon Valley has been the beating heart of American innovation, drawing the brightest minds from around the world. But DeepSeek's breakthrough could mark the beginning of an AI-driven economic shift, one that doesn't favor the U.S. The most immediate and devastating impact will be job losses. If AI models can now be developed faster, cheaper, and more efficiently, then the massive infrastructure and workforce that U.S. tech giants built may no longer be necessary. Thousands of engineers, data scientists, and AI researchers, once considered some of the most secure jobs in the industry, now face an uncertain future. The largest AI-driven companies, Google, OpenAI, Meta, and Microsoft, are under immense pressure to cut costs in order to compete with more efficient and cost-effective Chinese AI firms. This means companies will have to downsize AI divisions, cancel expensive projects, and shift development overseas to reduce expenses. As layoffs mount, the ripple effect will spread beyond Silicon Valley, hitting tech hubs across the U.S., and it won't stop there. The transformation of AI will reshape multiple industries, from finance to healthcare to manufacturing. If Chinese AI models can offer the same level of intelligence at a fraction of the cost, American companies may no longer see the need to develop AI in-house. They can simply license it from China. This is no longer just about job losses. It's about economic dependency. The more U.S. industries integrate AI, the more power and influence shift to whoever controls the technology. And right now, that leadership is slipping out of America's hands, with DeepSeek proving that China may already be ahead. China's AI strategy, outmaneuvering Washington. For years, the U.S. government believed that restricting China's access to advanced AI chips would cripple its ability to develop cutting-edge artificial intelligence. Washington imposed strict export bans on Nvidia's most powerful chips, assuming that without them, China's AI sector would stall. But DeepSeek has proven that those measures failed. Instead of falling behind, China has done the opposite. It has adapted, innovated, and found ways to build world-class AI models with fewer resources. By prioritizing efficiency, optimization, and cost-effectiveness, DeepSeek has sidestepped the limitations imposed by Washington and, in many ways, turned them into a competitive advantage. The U.S. believed that blocking China from acquiring the latest chips would secure its AI dominance, but in reality, these restrictions forced China to become more independent and, in doing so, made its AI industry more resilient than ever. This raises a critical issue. U.S. policies have severely underestimated China's ability to innovate. Washington's strategy was built on the assumption that China's AI progress was dependent on Western technology. That assumption is now proving fatally wrong. China's AI labs have found new ways to train models with weaker hardware, making them more efficient while reducing costs, something American tech companies never prioritized because they always had access to unlimited funding and resources. Now, the U.S. faces a difficult choice. Does it tighten restrictions even further, risking economic retaliation? Does it try to match China's AI efficiency, even though Silicon Valley's infrastructure wasn't built for that? Or does it accept the harsh reality that AI leadership is no longer an American advantage? DeepSeek has made one thing clear. China isn't just catching up, it's outmaneuvering the U.S. If Washington doesn't act fast, China could soon dominate the very industry the U.S. thought it had secured for the next century. The future of AI and the global economic order. DeepSeek is not just a technological breakthrough, it's an economic turning point. For the first time, the United States faces the real possibility of losing its dominance in AI, and with it, a major pillar of its economic and geopolitical power. What was once a field controlled by Silicon Valley is now being rewritten by China, with DeepSeek proving that cost efficiency, adaptability, and speed matter more than billion-dollar budgets. Silicon Valley's AI giants are in defensive mode. Investors are rethinking their bets, unsure whether American companies can maintain their advantage. The U.S. government is scrambling to respond, realizing that AI is no longer an industry where it holds an unquestioned lead. And yet, this is only the beginning. If China has already developed an AI model this powerful at a fraction of the cost, then what happens in the next 5 years? Will the U.S. lose its economic advantage in AI-powered industries? Will high-paying American tech jobs disappear as companies shift to cheaper AI solutions? Will China dictate the future of AI regulations, investments, and applications, leaving the U.S. struggling to catch up? The world has underestimated China's ability to lead in AI. But DeepSeek has proven that those assumptions are outdated. If the U.S. wants to stay competitive, it needs a new strategy, one that can match China's efficiency, innovation, and speed. Because if it doesn't, then this may be the moment when the U.S. officially lost its lead in the economy of the future. The global AI race is no longer about who started first, it's about who adapts fastest. DeepSeek has rewritten the rules, and now the U.S. must decide, fight to reclaim its lead or risk becoming just another player in a game it once dominated. The future of AI is the future of the economy, and the battle for it has already begun. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to Economy Explorer to stay ahead of the biggest economic shifts shaping our world. And don't stop here. Click on one of the suggested videos on your screen to keep exploring the forces that are reshaping the global economy. Thanks for being a part of Economy Explorer. We'll see you in the next video.